expecting us in the beach. Jump was great. We just be running out of fuel halfway there.
Okay. Boom, and we're back. That was AC/DC Thunderstruck, so I definitely played that for Chuck and Blackout. So we're back. If you're just now tuning in, this is Warrior Empowerment Hour with Mr. Don Brown here on WRGG 93.7 FM, and we have Mr. Chuck Timbrook, the owner-operator of Blackout, and also the host and the star of the House of Blackout. So I'm going to bring it back. And if you guys don't know Chuck Timbrook, he has a wonderful semi-truck that's dedicated to every single veteran out there. Service dog. He has a dog on the side. Everything. You know, every era of veteran, all these flags. You have to see this truck. And it's just wonderful. And if you have YouTube, you know, tune in to the House of Blackout. He has a bunch of episodes. I think he's up to episode 14 or 15 now. So, hey, if you're not doing anything, binge watch it, like and subscribe, share it, push it on to your friends and family. You know, he has a goal to, I believe it's
1 million.
1 million subscribers and viewers. So let's help him get to that 1 million. You know, if you're on Facebook, you know, look up Chuck Timbrook, look up Blackout, it'll come up, and you'll see his shows, and just keep liking and sharing. And trust me, we will get to 1 million. That's our goal. So I'm going to turn it over to Chuck. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, man. Please, if you have a spare time or a spare moment, jump on YouTube and type in Blackout Veterans Tribute and look for the House of Blackout. And please like it, share it, subscribe. Anybody that knows YouTube, being we are a nonprofit set up with Google, and we're set up with Facebook and everything we even set up with Walmart, but you know, we only work with one Walmart store, which is Spring Mills, because we're small. We're not a gigantic nonprofit, but have a big heart, but a little nonprofit. And but we anybody that knows YouTube, after you get to so many, they start helping that nonprofit. And my goal is to reach 1 million eyeballs. Number one thing is, at 1 million eyeballs, that means 1 million people have seen the episode about our veterans. That means they learned something.
Yep.
And to me, my job would be done, because 1 million people had heard the message and seen the statement.
Yeah.
And it also helped the nonprofit, because you know we struggle. I mean, we don't we try to push, but you know you can only push so hard.
Yeah.
And anybody and everybody knows that when you're working with a veterans organization, it's hard to get funding for. And it, you know, and I learned this. It's very hard to keep funding for a nonprofit organization supporting our veterans. So, you know, we keep trying. And with people like you, you know, with what you do and spreading the word, I mean, believe me, we get help.
Yeah.
But it's like now we're going to be set back for a while with the teardown, because, you know, we had some other issues come up with the nonprofit, and it kind of set us back. So the teardown with Blackout might be a little later, coming back in spring.
Okay.
It might be almost into April before I can get it moving, because it's going to take some time to raise the funding to get the truck done. And but we have a website for Blackout and the House of Blackout, and it's www.blackoutinc.org. I'll do that again. It's www.blackoutinc.org. And guys, if you like if you like hearing the national anthem, or you like videos that you know that you know puts a smile on your face, go on there and check out some of them videos too. But the mainstream is YouTube. Yeah. Because YouTube, you know, when you create a video on YouTube, it has their own little address, so you can't do much with it. So we just leave it on YouTube. But we did finally get our approval from YouTube for our nonprofit, And we're getting a lot of respect. They just don't like us because we try to sneak songs in there. You know, we keep getting smacked down for it. But, you know, everybody says, well, you think you'd learn by now. No, that's not the way we roll, man.
Yeah.
We, you know, AC/DC and, you know, Rolling Thunder. When we do Rolling Thunder, if we get on Rolling Thunder this year, this will be our 5th year to go to Rolling Thunder in D.C. And when I roll out of the parking lot down there at the Pentagon and head down through the streets of D.C., I'm cranking about 2,400 watts of thunder, AC/DC.
Yeah.
And you would not believe how crazy it drives these people. I mean, they just hands in the air and just, you know, and they love that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Rolling Thunder, playing Thunder by AC.
It goes hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it mixes well. And, of course, we did that in Ocean City. Now, it's kind of funny, and don't laugh at me now. But we rolled out of the inlet down at Ocean City, and I started down the street there, and I had it cranked up about 2,300 watts of AC/DC playing Thunder. And people were coming out on their balconies and running out of their, you know, motels and stuff, and coming out on the streets and waving their hands and jumping, you know, because they jamming at that time. Some of them had beers in their hand, waving them at me, you know. And about 3 blocks down the road, I had a cop cruiser throw his lights on for me and said, "Man, don't do that." He says, "I'd never give you a ticket." He said, "I love the truck and respect what it stands for." He said, "But man, that music's driving these people crazy, and there's not enough of us on duty." So I said, "Yeah, no problem." So I turned it down. I respect Ocean City Police.
Yes.
I mean, you know, there's a lot of car clubs out there that's got respect for our Ocean City police, and then you got the car clubs that don't.
Yeah.
And that was an incident in the paper there not too long ago about that, you know, and. But, you know, I respect our police, our fire, no matter what state they're in, what city they're in. Them guys put their lives on the line. And, you know, a lot of people don't think about that. But that fireman, you know, has a wife and a kid at home, and he runs into a building, a burning building to save an animal, and runs back out. And he gets the animal out, and he don't make it. You know, and how, you know, to me, that is... 100% respect and honor, and it should be like that, you know, all over the country. Our police force, you know, there's just a lot of disgust. I don't get into politics, man. I hate politics.
I can understand.
But you know, when it comes to veterans and police and fire, you know, I go right at it. And you know, I support our veterans 100%. I've only done four funerals for a veteran. And I don't know, I kind of like hold back, you know, kind of like, because I don't like to see it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about the VA. I mean, Miss Mary down at the VA, for 3 years in a row, I'd go down to Miss Mary at the VA, always give her a rose on Mother's Day. And I'll always kneel down beside her wheelchair, and she'd give me a hug. And she was served in the Navy, and she was World War II, and she served in the Navy.
Yeah.
And never did ask her what she did, but she passed away just before our Christmas at the VA. And when I went down there, I had 2 gifts in my hand, and I went down that section, and her room was occupied, and I had asked the nurse, I said, "Where'd you move Miss Mary?" And they gave me the news, and I just I told my wife, I said, "I really don't want to be here now. I just don't want to be here at this, you know, at this point." And then there was another gentleman by the name of Mr. Johnson, and he was in a wheelchair. And he'd always, when my truck was sitting out in front of the VA center, he would always come out, and he'd just hang out, talk to us, and you know, and after God Bless America ride, he had passed away like a week after that ride, and you know, it's kind of hard because you're meeting these guys, but then all of a sudden they're leaving you.
Yeah.
And I know God works in mysterious ways, and maybe it was the thing that that He wanted me to meet them before they, left. But I take it to heart the other way.
Yeah.
That I hate to see them leave. Unless they're suffering or in pain.
Yeah.
Or really really bad, then I don't wish that on anybody just for greed.
Yeah.
But if they're not hurting and they just pass away out of the blue, I mean, I could sit down and talk to these people for hours.
Yeah.
And enjoy every minute of it. But that's one thing that's hard about the VA center, and I know a lot of people won't go into VA.
Yeah.
Because of that. And I can understand why. And I know some guys with PTSD can't go into VA center.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it reminds them that when they go in there, it reminds them of things that they went through. And here I am. I never served. And I'm learning.
Yeah.
But it's not too hard just to understand that these guys went through some tragic moments. The Vietnam War. In any other war, but the Vietnam War, I mean, there was a lot of kids involved in that. And, people just disrespected our Vietnam veterans because, you got kids that running at you with a bomb strapped to them. What are you supposed to do? You have your 5 brothers behind you that's had your back for 5-6 months, and you got a kid running at you with a bomb. A kid that has parents that's goofy in the head. That's my theory of it.
Yeah.
Why would you send your kid with a bomb? That's because you're not man or woman enough to do it yourself. But this is the way I look at it. Them guys had to protect.
Yeah.
Had to protect their little family at that point. And them guys keep that in their head.
Yeah.
They remember that kid running at them. And that's things they come home with. And it's hard. I mean, sometimes it's hard for them to talk to me about it, and sometimes it's hard for me to listen.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little harder on them to talk to me about certain things. But there's times that I just say, okay, man, I can't handle no more. It's just too much in my head.
Yeah.
And because 5 minutes, I always hear this. A warrior from no matter what war they're in, that was in some serious action, 5 minutes of what they've been through. Anybody would get in their head for 5 minutes and see it, would be scared to death.
Yeah.
Because, war ain't no game. It ain't no video game. And these guys went through some serious things, man. And that's why I love them and respect them.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to. Not saying if they wasn't called right now, I wouldn't be with you.
Yeah.
You might have to teach me how to fire that gun right, but I'm with you.
Right.
But, I grew up in the 80s, and there wasn't nothing in the 80s.
Yeah.
The only thing in the 80s was smoking grass and drinking beer.
Yeah.
And that's just being honest. And really wasn't nothing in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so the military was the last thing on my mind because you didn't hear much about military in the 80s. And,
out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. So that doesn't mean I don't regret it.
Right.
Because I think service would have did me good. And in today's time, service would do a lot of these younger generations. They do them real good, believe me. But I wasn't no innocent angel in my teens. I mean, I did some bad things. I never killed nobody or nothing. But I did some bad things in my teen. But that's over with.
Yeah.
Look what I turned out to be.
You're a wonderful person.
I made my mom and dad proud. And my dad looks down. He was Army. My dad was Army, and he's looking down on me. He sees what I'm doing. He's seen the start of Blackout, but he never got to see much more after that.
Okay.
And that's why when he passed away, it just everything come to mind, and and he's the reason why that the truck is what it is today, and I dedicated it to every veteran, no matter what war you served in.
Yeah.
And that's. I just wished I could put all the wars on the truck, but I'm running out of space.
Right. You'd need like 4 or 5 trucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But, but I'll tell you another thing, guys. Y'all need to tune into this show more because, Dominic does a heck of a job. and he's getting more and more and more listeners.
Yeah.
And you know, and one thing, you don't beat around the bush. I mean, this ain't CNN. There ain't no fake news on this show. I guarantee you that.
That's for sure.
But
We keep it 100.
Exactly. And if he screws up, oh well, you know, he just floats the boat and keeps going with it. He's like me.
That's right.
You know, I just laugh about it, and I hope you laugh with us too. But
Indeed.
guys, I am honored to be up here with you today.
It's an honor to have you.
It's just, it's a blessing to be in Pennsylvania. My truck is in Pennsylvania a good bit, and you know, like Wayne's Bar, they'll send what is it, Bush Brothers of the Bush. They'll send me donation for fuel to help with some of the parade events, and you know, there's a couple of American Legion here in Greencastle has sent me fuel funding. And I've been invited to. Well, a lot of times I get invited, and it doubles up on me. So like they had asked me about going on a fishing thing here with the American Legion. It was like last year, but I was already booked. And it was a fishing thing for veterans. Do you know how much I really, really, really wanted to call the other one and say, I'm sick, but I can't do that. I don't back out, man. I just, word's the word, you know. When you give your word, you need to stand behind it. But
that's right.
I really wanted to go to that veterans fishing thing, you know, because I don't fish. I just want to be there because there's veterans there. You know, and that's just like that, what's that place over in Virginia called Crest, where it has the guys that just come home and they're wounded, and they let their families come stay with them at, it's like a resort.
Boulder Crest.
Yes. I really want to go there, but I've never been invited, and I will not call and ask. I wait for them to invite me, because I don't push the truck on nobody. And, you know, and that's the way you need to be. And so sooner or later I'll get a call. But I really want to go there. I want to see guys that just come home, you know, and try to encourage them. You know, and I did. I guess what shot me down a long time ago is I had a crew, and I forgot the aircraft carrier. The aircraft carrier was coming in the dock at Norfolk, and the crew, a couple of the crew had family members in the area, and I really wanted to go down and meet them with the truck as they come in and everything, and I got shot down.
Oh man.
They told me that it wasn't a proper thing, and you know, maybe next time through the proper channels. And it kind of made me feel like, you know, they thought maybe I was terrorist or something, you know, and you know, and it kind of made me feel heartbroken because I really wanted to be sitting there for them guys to see that honor and respect as they come in, you know, from their time out on sea. And I had, you know, 2 or 3 people on that carrier that sent me pictures. I got a picture on my Facebook page. If you scroll through my Facebook pages, the pictures, it'll be the aircraft carrier, and it'll be all in different collar shirts for what they do. And they took this picture just for blackout.
Oh wow. And
they got it all color coded, and they did that just for blackout. And they sent me that picture, and they were expecting me. Even the guy, the captain, or whatever, they were expecting me to be at Norfolk, and they turned me down. Norfolk had turned me down. So maybe one day I'll get to fulfill that that void. And but the only thing I do is sit back and wait. You know, I'm not giving up. I'm just you know, I just gotta wait, wait my turn. You know,
because timing is everything.
Exactly. And but I'll tell you one thing, I can't wait to do our Veterans House of Blackout tonight. I'm really waiting because I'm reading it right off the sheet. I pre-read some of it, but I haven't read it all. And so I'm going to be learning as I'm doing this show. So I'm going to be learning this, you know, and I'm really interested. And then my next one's going to be World War II. And then I'm going to go back as far as the Civil War, as far as Francis Scott Key. I'm going to have different series for different wars. And then once I get back to France, then I'm going to start with Iraq and Afghanistan, where it started with the Gulf. Then I'm going to go into them. And, you know, a lot of people don't know that they think that prisoner of war was only in Vietnam. No. We had prisoner of wars in was Gulf, Iraq, Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Guys, prisoner of war, never. It's just not something that disappeared.
Yeah.
And we also had what, 4 MIA?
Mm-hmm.
4 MIA in this era too. So when you see POW MIA, it's just not for the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
We had more in the Vietnam War than any other war, but
Yeah.
we still get them. We still get them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why you got to keep your prayers up because POW, prisoner of war. That's a strong statement.
Yeah.
And missing in action, that's even stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why every time I go to the Reefs across America there at Antietam Battlefield,
Yeah.
I like to go to the stones with no name on it
Mm-hmm.
because that's the unknown.
Yeah.
And I always say that they served too.
Mm-hmm.
They just couldn't figure out.
Yeah.
Little history lesson.
Mm-hmm.
The youngest in the Vietnam War, how old was it?
I would say 15.
16.
16.
16 was the youngest.
Wow.
Yes. The youngest to die
Mm-hmm.
in the Vietnam War. The first to die in the Vietnam War.
The age of the first one to die? I would say 30.
16.
Wow.
Yep. First one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just for me, reading up,
Yeah.
going through, and the average was like 21
Mm-hmm.
to 35.
Oh, okay.
All right. I had the breakdown of how many volunteered, how many was forced to go in,
Mhm.
and how many volunteered to go in.
Okay.
Which the volunteers outnumbered the forced.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good thing.
Yes. And that's why you hear these guys saying, "I'll go back anytime."
Yeah.
Not only is that amazing,
Mm-hmm.
but that just tells you that our men and women have heart.
That's right.
And excuse my language, but they kick ass.
That is true. All branches we do. That's for sure.
And there ain't no difference to me. I don't
Yeah.
look at Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine.
Yeah.
I look at heroes.
That's it.
They just got a different letter on their shirt, M,
That's all.
A, N,
Yep.
But that don't mean anything
Mm-hmm.
because when it comes to war,
Yeah.
there is no branch.
No, we're all in it together.
Exactly. That's and for somebody like me, I mean, how can you not admire the skills and the willpower of these people to go out and willing to put their life on the line
Mm-hmm.
for people back home like myself,
Mm-hmm.
and so I guess I'm just one of them really, really super grateful people,
Yeah.
and that'll never change. But I guess an eye opener when you was on my show
Mm-hmm.
was when you talked to me about PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
You told me a lot of stuff that I never knew. I mean, I
Okay.
knew somewhat about it, but
Yeah.
I learned there.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad always told me, he said, the day that you don't learn something,
Mm-hmm.
at least something a day or something a week,
Yeah.
he says the day you might as well just be dead.
Yeah.
Because the day you stop learning, there's nothing more to live for.
Yeah.
And so I learn something new every day.
Mm-hmm.
I even learned not to eat ice cream cone upside down.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to eat ice cream cone upside down. See, that's the fun we have here, man. This is awesome. Oh man, that is great. Oh boy. So on that note, our time is coming close to an end, and guys, as I always close, be mentally strong, physically strong, socially strong, and spiritually strong. And we're in with our favorite song, Wiz Khalifa, Till I See You Again. Okay?